Hey Collective, Jeff here. I'm back. My last message was 2 days ago. Today is the 19th of October, Thursday, and I'm back with some similar messages to my last two videos. Whether or not you've had a chance to take a look at those, I'm unsure, but I encourage you to go back and take a look if you haven't. And really, all I've done with both of those videos is what I've done is I've gone through and I've written down some suggestions on some note cards of how to uplift your day as well as the day of those that you impact. So the whole concept behind it is, you light one match, and if you're in close enough contact with other matches, it can light 1,000, it can light 1,000,000, really, if you really think about it. And it's really to be contagious in positivity and joy and love and spreading, what it is that we have to offer, which is naturally just love. That's kind of the universal language. So I'm just going to share these with you pretty briefly. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. They don't take a lot of time, but this channel in general, if you haven't looked at any of my other videos or seen my other content, the whole purpose of this channel is to really dig into self-love, and through self-love, self-healing. So these are just quick tips that will help you get on the right track, right? Healing is a lifelong journey. If you're alive every day, there's always healing to be done, right? We all have trauma that we need to heal, and the whole purpose of healing our own trauma is simply so we don't project it upon others, right? And then perpetuate the need for more healing. And we've all been around those people who clearly need to do some healing, and they try to bring you down to their level, when they're not feeling so good, and they're doing this unconsciously, so we don't blame them necessarily. We just pray for their healing and hope that they find it. But so I have 6 suggestions I've been sharing left. I've already shared 6, and I've been sharing 3 a day because that seems to be at like the 25 minute mark. So I'll try to keep it brief. But what I try to do here is, because I don't have any monetary resources to go out of my way for good deeds. And the example I used in my last video is, one of the readers I have made the suggestion to put together a care package for a soldier overseas and then to send it. And if you do just the rough math on what that is going to take from a resource perspective, you're talking with shipping and then everything that you intend to put on it in it, because you want it to be a meaningful package that's going to be well received, right? Things that they're not going to get while they're overseas. It's gonna run you anywhere between $50 and $100, if not more. And again, it's a nice gesture, and if you have the means to do that, that's a suggestion I would like to pass along from that reader, right? It wasn't my idea, but nonetheless, that inspired me to come up with different ideas, everyday ideas, things that you can just put in your back pocket. They're real easy, and that's the beauty of it. So, okay, so this one starts small and simple. I wrote down, grab small packs of Kleenex from the store and keep them in your car, and share them with someone known or unknown who you notice needs them. And you know what I'm talking about, those little packs of Kleenexes that they have like 10, 15 Kleenexes in them, and it's something that you can keep in your car. And if you see somebody needs some Kleenex, usually they need more than one, right? You don't want to keep a whole box in there and then leave the whole box, or just give them like a handful of them. It would be nice to hand them like a pack, like, here, it looks like you need this. And it's kind of endearing, right, to know that somebody has, they're looking out for you, and they care, right? And it's something easy that you can keep in your car, and if you need them yourself, you can use them, right? And they're fairly inexpensive. You can get them at the dollar store or Five Below, whatever. You can get a pack of them, and it's just something that you can keep easily mobile with you, and it gives you the opportunity to, if you're comfortable doing so, asking the person if they're okay, if there's anything that you can do. And you don't necessarily want to get involved in people's drama, but it's still nice to show that you care. So it's just one of those things, very, very simple, something that won't cost you anything, but if you have the means to buy a few packs of Kleenexes, do it, right? And it gives you the opportunity to not only feel good about, caring about somebody enough to do that, to purchase them in the first place, to carry them around, and then when the opportunity does arise, to then take advantage of it and try to make this person feel like they're being acknowledged or seen in a time, obviously, of a tumultuous time where they're upset. So, it impacts this person as well. So you're going to walk away from that experience, and you're going to, have interactions with other people, presumably for the rest of the day, and you'll be in a more uplifted mood, and therefore your match will light other positive engagements and other matches around you, which will then hopefully uplift their spirits, and then allow them to have better and higher interactions with those around them. And it spreads like wildfire. It's contagious. So it's a beautiful thing. And then on the flip side, the person who's upset, maybe you comforted them, and maybe it made them stop crying, the fact that you even came up to them and gave them the Kleenex, and it just made them feel seen, when maybe that was exactly what was bothering them in the first place. And maybe you even take the opportunity to talk to them about what's going on, if you feel so inclined to do so. If you don't, that's fine too. We're not here to fix people's lives. We're just here to make them feel a little bit better, to feel loved, to understand that there is support for them, even though we don't necessarily know them. So I'm going to take this opportunity, and usually I wait until the end of the video to say this, but if nobody's told you that they love you today, I love you. And I know that you don't know me, I don't know you, it doesn't really matter. It's not the point. I operate from a place of unconditional love, and it doesn't really matter if you know me, don't know me, feel like you have history with me. It doesn't matter. I don't harbor any resentment against anybody. I fully support everybody's energy in which they come. I just don't engage in negative energy, and I choose to only keep positive energy around me consciously, right? We can't always escape everything, but we do have control over how we react to things. That's the only thing we can control, is how we react to external circumstances. So if somebody's in a volatile mood and they come at you, yeah, you can choose to get upset, but I wouldn't, especially when it's unexpected, and honestly you just don't want to engage, and you just don't want to change your vibration. So anyway, so that was a simple suggestion. On the other side of the card, if you overhear a conversation that you can add value to, add value at your discretion. And what I mean by this is, like, have you ever, let's just say you're at Dunkin' Donuts and you hear people talking about, for instance, I had this personally happen to me where I was traveling the US, and I was at a Verizon store waiting for my phone to upload the new contacts. It was taking a while, so I was I wasn't familiar with the area. I like to go to parks locally, or just attractions. I like loop trails because I have no sense of direction. So I always ask, do you know any paved trails around here that are nice nature walks where I can get outside? And sometimes people know, sometimes people don't. But I bumped into a lady who also was not from the area, but a third party who was also waiting for their phone kind of interjected and jumped into the conversation and gave me literally a list of places that I can go, and I truly appreciated it. And they appreciated that I took their suggestions, and I took value in their suggestions. I didn't just nod my head, okay, I'll do that. No, I wrote them down, and I took value in them. So they added value to my day, and me acknowledging and accepting their guidance and their opinion, right, made it just a positive interaction on both ends. And we talked for about the 45 minutes that it took for both of our phones to upload, and it was all in all a really good random interaction at a Verizon store. I walked away feeling really good, and honestly, random people do care what your life experiences turn out to be, and this person had a vested interest in me enjoying the local area and some of the attractions that they find value in, and I found value in what they found value in. So again, it was just a warm feeling, and people I wouldn't have necessarily connected with, but it's that third party that jumped into the conversation that really changed the dynamic of everything. And that's what I'm saying. So if you overhear, and I did this, I didn't do this at Dunkin' Donuts. I overheard a conversation, and it was more that I had a time constraint where I couldn't jump into it, but I could have added value to it because I knew about the topic. And I did want to jump into it, but I just knew I wouldn't add value with the amount of time I had. But it's in those instances where you can add value, and you do have the time, and that's your investment in it, right? The time that you give to giving your advice and the knowledge that you have about that topic, that is part of your value that you're offering to this person, who it will then obviously take, they would see value in it, see value in you. You'd feel valued. They'd feel like, you cared enough to chime in and help them out, right? With your top suggestions based on your personal experience. So again, it's an opportunity for both of you to walk away in an elevated mood and then have positive interactions with others. So lighting matches here and there, contagious, like positive energy, right? So it's little things like that, especially between people who don't know each other. And we have opportunities to add value to people that we do know on a daily basis. And I just took the time to tell you that I love you even though I don't know you. But my question to you is, do you acknowledge the people in your life that you love? Do you tell them that you love them? Do you show them affection and do little things to let them know that you truly care about them? Or do you just kind of assume they know and go through the motions of every day and speak to each other kind of neglectfully, right? Or take each other for granted. So I would encourage you to, maybe surprise a person with flowers, and you don't even have to do anything monetarily or gift wise. Sometimes it's just listening and being engaged in a conversation that sometimes you just don't have the energy to engage in when you get home from work, and you're in a mood. So put yourself aside sometimes and engage in that conversation and make that person that you truly love and care for feel seen and loved. And it can change the whole trajectory of both of your nights, and it could solidify your feelings, and it could clear up doubts that you both have in your head. You don't know because you can't read other people's minds. We always assume that the person that we love loves us equally or is in the same emotional place as we are all the time, and that's not the case. So take the time to just let the people that are in your life already know how you truly feel. All right, so that was one suggestion. We're at 12 minutes. That's a little longer than I wanted to go, but that's okay because I got a few points across there. And I got to tell you that I love you. And I got to give you the suggestion about, the people that, are in your life every day. These are friends and family. And, we just neglect to just say, I love you, and they might look at you like you're crazy, but be like, what? I love you. Like, are you surprised? And they shouldn't be surprised, right? This one wanted to pop out, so I'm going to take it. I usually do tarot cards too, which is why I like to shuffle these. It just makes me feel like I'm doing what I do best. Okay, so this is something I actually did yesterday. So this is perfectly relevant, and it was 13:33 on the timer when I pulled this out. So okay, this has to do with homeless people. So this is something that really, really weighs on my soul. Is when you see people begging for food or money, either on a street corner or outside of a store. Okay, and I'll just give you the example that I had. And I was at a Walmart, and I don't have any cash. I don't have any money to give. I don't even have spare change to give. And that's not a sob story, but if you do want to sew into my channel, I always, whatever I get in, I just recycle and give back out. And it helps pay my basic, costs. But that's not here nor there. And my Venmo and my PayPal is in the description. But that's not really what I'm here to promote, because God's, God's knowledge and advice, and as is mine, is always free. So you're always welcome to come back and get this advice for free. So it's not about that, although it would be appreciated. That's all I'll say. But if you don't have the means to help a homeless person, but it kind of tugs at your heartstrings, perhaps if you feel comfortable, depending on the situation, because some people are clearly not in a state of sobriety, right? And sometimes that's easily identifiable. So take note of that. Don't, go up to somebody who is, in the throes of withdrawals, right? Or acting erratic, or, could possibly put you in danger. But this particular homeless person that I met up with, that, I don't have cash for, and he was playing his guitar, he was sitting on the ground, he had his case open asking for cash, and all he said, he had a note in there. It didn't ask for cash specifically, it just said, "I need a miracle." And I was like, that's sad. He looked like he was probably in his early 20s, down and out. He kept his head down, was playing his guitar, he had a few bucks in his case. And I walked by him initially when I went in, and I was like, oh God, what can I do? And I rely on food assistance, which if you are on food assistance as an individual, it's not very much. So I don't have very much to give, but I'm pretty economical with the way I do it. So I make the most of my food assistance, and in doing so, I got enough food to be able to share with this individual. So I went back to my car, and I sorted through what I got, and I made kind of like a little care package for him. His name was Kevin. I'm not worried about his anonymity, because I don't think anybody's gonna be able to find out who this person was, because I'm not going to tell you the location or anything. But so what I did is I made a little care package, and I walked over to him, and I told him I didn't have any money for him, but I asked him if he could use some food, because some people truly are just looking for money, right? And they don't want the food, and they're going to throw the food out. And I can read people's intentions, so I can tell if they're going to actually utilize the food, or if they actually are going to appreciate it. And he was like, oh yeah, man, that's perfect. And you could tell he was hungry. He's like, yes, like, I'm going to be buying food anyway with this money, so yes, food would be perfect. So I gave him, what I could give, which was 2 bananas, an apple, and then it was a ready-to-eat rice bowl that had a spork already in it, right? And then an Arizona iced tea. And, it cost me all of like $4, right? And he thanked me. He put his head back down and started playing again, and I stopped him, and I'm like, my name is Jeff, and I put my hand out, and I shook his hand, and he seemed a little like why you want to talk to me? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, of course I want to introduce myself. It's not like you're below me. We're kind of in the same shoes in one way or another, right? And it doesn't even matter if we're not. I'm just, I appreciate where you are, but what I told him is, I appreciate you sharing your gift in your asking for assistance, right? And asking for donations. He didn't ask specifically for money. He asked for a miracle, and he's playing his guitar, which is his gift, in exchange to receive, kindness from people. And I think that's important. It's like, he was giving what he had to offer, which wasn't much, but he had something to offer other than just holding up a sign. And based on his sign, I need a miracle, in his guitar case, I said, Kevin, I will pray for a miracle for you. And I just told him, my personal experience is, God will always provide everything that you need at any given moment. So don't lose faith, pray if that's something that you're comfortable with, but just know that you may have to sleep outdoors, but you'll be protected, right? And you're never going to go without. You're always going to have what you need. And what money you've collected and the food that you've gotten is what you need for the moment. So just have some appreciation in that, and move forward with faith and hope. And I went back to my car, and I said a full-blown prayer for Kevin, because that's how I truly feel. I want people to succeed. And so I did what little I could, and then I did a little bit more of what I could, which is pray. And I do believe that there's a lot of power in prayer. So it's just a suggestion. in terms of what you can do. If you don't have anything to give, and again, if you feel comfortable approaching these people, sometimes it's just nice for them to be acknowledged, because so many people, they, if they're standing at a street corner and they're driving by, people will avoid eye contact with them, or if they're walking by, avoid eye contact because they don't want to feel guilty for not giving anything if they can't. Be the person who doesn't have anything to give but cares enough to introduce themselves and maybe ask them what their situation is. Maybe take 5 minutes out of your day, not even, maybe take 2 minutes out of your day and just have a quick conversation with them and just wish them well. And then as you walk, ask them their name, because that's important. It's important that people want to know who they are, even if it is just their name on a very basic level. And then, as you walk away, say a 30-second prayer for these people, right? And you're going to walk away feeling better for the interaction, and that person is so going to appreciate whatever it is that you've done, whether it just be not acknowledge them, give them food, which they need, or give them money, which they're asking for. But nonetheless, and I went a step further and said that I appreciated that he shared his gift. So he knows that, sharing his gift is important. Like, giving the gift of music, it's soothing, right? It's soothing to people, and he's literally trying to gift people with the sound of his gift, and that's a beautiful thing, right? And that there's value in that. So I don't know, try to look at these situations and homeless people in a different light, and try just seeing them for who they are. But again, we all know we have to use our discernment when there's certain people who, again, are going through withdrawals, and they're clearly just looking for money, and it might not be a safe situation for you. So always use your discernment in that. But not all homeless people are bad, and you just never really know when you're going to find yourself, or ever if you're going to find yourself in that situation, or somebody you love is going to be in that situation. So keep that in mind too. How would you want to be treated if you were that person? Try to put yourself in that predicament, at least mentally, right? Try to put yourself in that person's shoes. Or if it's somebody that you love, or somebody in your nuclear family, out in a street corner, how would you want people to approach them and care for them? So it does mean a lot to these people, and I really hope that you can change your perspective a little bit and just do whatever it is you can, right? Because it's all about love exchange, and then it lights 1,000 matches. You're going to walk away from that feeling better about yourself, and a different perspective on how you're going to move forward with those situations, right? So it's gonna liven you a little bit, but it's also going to give that person a little bit of hope where they might not have had any before, and just to let them know that they'll always be taken care of if they just believe, and that's important too. So that was the second one, and then I'll just pull a third one. We are at 2238, just missed 2222, and that's my favorite number. To me, 2222 means uplifting the spirit of all of those around you. It's just an uplifting kind of angel number that I like to acknowledge. All right, one more here. I'll take that one. It just kind of wants to be seen. We'll do it. I'm not going to do that one. It's a little bit more complicated, and I feel like it needs a little bit more explanation than we have time for. Okay, so this is one I've done too, not recently, because this one sometimes takes resources. This one is one that takes resources, but it doesn't take much. So this is something I did for a family member that I was trying to, and I'll just put it out there. Me and my sister were 7 years apart in age, never really been particularly close, but I had to drive by her apartment every day on my way home from work, and at least once or twice a week, what I would try to do is, I knew what kind of coffee she liked, and she would drink coffee kind of later in the day, and I would too. So I would just grab a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, now known as just Dunkin', for whatever it's worth, and I would just stop by, and we'd sit down and shoot the shit for the hour that it took me to drink the coffee. And quite honestly, we'd smoke a blunt and just chat and catch up, and it was really nice. It was, in my opinion, a nice gesture, and I went out of my way after a long, stressful day at work. I still took the time to go purchase a coffee, stop by, have interest in her life, and ask her what's good. What's good. Just tell me what's good. I don't want to know what's bad, but tell me what's good. And if there's anything I can help you with, tell me what's bothering you. It's not all about the good, right? And we would catch up, and honestly, it was nice, and I always left feeling good. And I can't speak for her, and I can't say that we're particularly close now, because you can't mend everything with those kinds of actions. It's just an example, but sometimes you can. But it's really the thought that counts, and it's taking time out that might be unexpected, but it's a really nice gesture, and it feels good. It made me feel good, and at the same time, it also allowed me to miss rush hour traffic, so I was less frustrated on the drive home. I got home a little bit later, but not much, because I didn't sit in traffic. I just zoomed home. So I tried to look at the whole situation as a positive, and then when I got home, I was in a better mood for my then partner, right? And so our interactions were better, and it gave me a positive topic to talk to him about. Rather than work, it was like, oh, I stopped by, I saw my sister, we had a great conversation, and blasey, this is what's going on. And usually it was good stuff that I got to talk about. So it was something other than me talking about work, right? I was able to talk about my interaction on my way home, because that was top of mind. It wasn't my work situation that was top of mind, because what was top of mind was the last thing I did, which was the most positive thing I did with my day. So just a suggestion to do things like that. I used to do it with my grandmother too when she was alive. She died in I don't even know. I want to say it was 2017. But in any case, I would often, because I worked nearby her apartment, and I would often, during my lunch break, I would stop by with stuff that she needed. So she was kind of limited in what kind of money she had. So, and she went through Kleenex like a Mo. Like, she just blew her nose and had, she had a lot of lung problems. She's always coughing up phlegm, and Kleenex isn't cheap when you use a box a day. So I'd come over with Kleenex, and she was like really sparing, with her coffee grinds. Like, she would make a really weak coffee, and she always made me coffee. And I like my coffee strong, so I always brought her a big can of like Colombian strength coffee, like things that she wouldn't splurge on her own. Or I'd bring her, some flowers, but always something just to make her feel appreciated, seen, acknowledged. I'd go over at lunch, or I'd go after work, and find out if she needed anything, like a ride to the doctor's office because she didn't drive, like things like that. I would just, instead of calling her to catch up, I did a face-to-face with her, and it just made her feel loved. And I always made sure before I'd start to close the door. I would do this on purpose. I would start to close the door, I'd peek my head back in, and be like, I love you. And she'd say, I love you too. And I could always tell that it made her feel really appreciated and seen. And I always walked out of there just feeling just so wonderful, because I love my grandmother. She's such a kind soul. And I got to spend like literally the last moments of her life with her, as she exited this world. And it was the most special moment of my life, to be quite honest. To this date, it was probably the most profound moment I ever had. So it's like those little things that we can do for people that really mean the most. And it's really our time investment, and our willingness to just tap into their world and see what's going on. And you can guide these interactions with these people, with these loved ones, to go towards positive topics, like literally, hey, tell me what's good. Like, guide it in the good direction, rather than well, this repairman didn't show up, and then my boss. Don't steer it to that. Steer it towards what's good, and maybe you start the topics off with something positive that happened to you. But I always find that it's easier to steer them into a positive topic, so they don't get resentful of your good life, right? Or, just your positive attitude. Like, just kind of, test their temperature. And what's the other suggestion on here? This is just something, it's kind of silly, but if you ever go to like places like Five Below or like Dollar Tree, it doesn't even have to be those places. If you have the means to do something a little bit nicer, like a Vera Bradley, or like if you go to a Hallmark store or things like that, and you see like smaller items that remind you of a specific person. Like, for instance, like my friend one of my friends, I used to have a French bulldog that passed away in 2021, I should say, and she got me a little Christmas ornament of a French bulldog from a Hallmark store, right? It didn't probably cost very much, but it was adorable, and she didn't give it to me at Christmas, she just gave it to me when she got it. But it made me feel like, I don't know, appreciated. And it's the little things like that, like if and I, like I had a friend that used to come over for coffee every morning, and we always used to talk about our zodiac signs, right? Because I'm a Scorpio, she was a Cancer, and I was out with my mom at Home Goods, and they had zodiac sign coffee cups, like the big ones though, like because I like me some coffee, so it was like the big cup. Which is what I want. I don't want the little dinky ones that I can barely hold and like I have to fill 15 times. But anyway, it was cool, and then it had all the attributes on it, and it was cute. It was a cute little idea. And then we had our designated coffee cups when she came over, which was just whatever. And it was cheap. For the two of them, I think I spent $7. So I got myself something, I got her something, and it was something that, it was kind of like a bonding thing. But I thought of her, and I don't know, it just kind of made like her coming over for coffee, but she was taking the time to come over and pay me a visit, right? And using her gas money and her time to spend with me or spend on me. So I did appreciate it, because I had a good time talking to her, and it always uplifted me. When she left, I was always in a better mood, and I know vice versa. And we helped each other out, and we'd laugh, and just have a good time. And it was just my way of expressing through a small and expensive gift how I felt, right? So those are the 3 suggestions I have for today. I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to make these too long. I want these to be digestible and appreciated. And again, if you like this video, if you resonate with it, I encourage you to please like and subscribe. This is a new channel for me. I'm trying to grow it, but as you know, new channels are hard to grow. And if you are able to sow into the channel, that would be appreciated, no matter what the denomination is. Anything is helpful, as you know. And my Venmo is listed, and my PayPal is also listed in the video description, as well as in the channel description. So with that, I send you prayers of love, light, healing, and hope. And I pray that you always find peace in your hearts and minds to make decisions about people, places, and things that are in line with your highest good. And if you are on a spiritual healing journey, you should congratulate yourself, be proud of yourself. We should all be proud of ourselves for partaking in that. Healing is no easy task. So, give yourself some credit. And until the next video, where I'll share some more of these, and probably, I'll switch it up again in a little bit. But this is that for now. This is Jeff signing out. Take care. Love you.